When do you miss her the most?
I saw a picture of her smiling the other day, and I just thought, you know, she'll never smile again. And that's really hard.
I didn't know her, but I know you loved her. I mean, that's apparent sitting across from you in this moment. When you first met Halyna, was it wow? Was it like fireworks? What was it like?
Pretty much.
Was it? You knew right away?
It was pretty magical meeting her.
It was love at first sight. Matt Hutchins traveling 2,000 miles to Ukraine, Halyna's native country, to propose, getting engaged only 3 months after they met.
Well, I like to trust my intuition on matters of the heart. And I was like, well, I can just get on a train and go 2,000 miles and get there.
That's what love does. Wow.
And it was along the way where I decided to propose. And I got down on my knee and said, let's get married. And it was way too fast for her. She said, I don't know about this. So I had to convince her. And we met up and I gave her a ring.
That ring he gave Halyna, he now wears. Matt and Halyna were happily married for 16 years, raising a loving son.
There was a picture that struck me so deeply, and it was she and Andros nose to nose. And when I saw that, I thought, that's pure.
She just felt that connection and just loved him so much.
And Halyna calling every night from the Rust movie set to wish him good night.
What were their conversations like?
Well, they would get on video and, you know, she would just do everything that she could as a mom to reassure him, that, you know, just give him kisses.
And how did that make him feel when he saw her on video like that?
I think it helped him get to sleep every night, knowing that she was thinking about him.
I feel like in life we expect certain things to happen. We expect the sun to rise, we expect the sun to set, and we expect our loved one to come home at night.
Well, we certainly expected her to come home and to be there with us in our new home.
Matt Hutchins describes the horrifying moment he learned his beloved wife was shot and how he shared the heartbreaking news with their 9-year-old son, Andros.
How did you learn that something was wrong?
A member of the production team told me that Halyna had been shot, and my heart sank right away. Completely inexplicable to me that it could have happened at that moment. And the first thing I thought, I sat down and I said, I have to get my son, because I had to be with him. I rushed home and on the way decided that we had to go to Santa Fe. And when I got through to the doctor and spoke with him, and he detailed exactly what had happened and that she didn't survive, I mean, I was heartbroken. And I knew that I had to tell my son right away when I saw him. It just had to be very direct and blunt, because going to pick him up and go to the airport to go to Santa Fe, I didn't want him to think that we were going to be seeing her and having fun together and getting his hopes up. I told him, sitting together, you know, that his mother had been shot and died. And of course, he didn't believe it right away. He didn't want to believe it. So, you know.
What did he say?
Well, you know, I think that kind of news you just have to say multiple times so that it can be believed. Yeah. And so he believed it, and we cried together then. Every holiday, Christmas, New Year's, our anniversary, my birthday, Valentine's Day. I mean, every holiday is difficult without her. And for me and Andros.
Alec Baldwin called you afterwards, and there was an embrace and a meal. Tell me what that was like.
Well, I feel like to understand that moment, you have to remember the shock we were in. And I spoke with Mr. Baldwin and was just looking for a way through the storm.
Did he seem distraught during that time?
There were a lot of emotions, for sure, on both sides.
Hutchins, who's filed a civil suit against Baldwin and other producers and crew members on the film, now expressing outrage with Baldwin's recent interview, where he says the actor shifted blame over the death of his wife, Halyna.
I feel that someone is responsible for what happened, and I can't say who that is, but I know it's not me.
But watching him, I just felt so angry. Just so angry to see him talk about her death so publicly in such a detailed way, and then to not accept any responsibility after having just described killing her.
He said, essentially, he felt grief but no guilt.
Almost sounds like he was the victim. And hearing him blame Halyna in the interview and shift responsibility to others and seeing him cry about it, I just feel like, are we really supposed to feel bad about you, Mr. Baldwin?
So do you think that the majority of the blame lays on Alec Baldwin?
The idea that the person holding the gun, causing it to discharge, is not responsible is absurd to me. Every individual who touches a firearm has a responsibility for gun safety. But gun safety was not the only problem on that set. There were a number of industry standards that were not practiced, and there's multiple responsible parties.
The suit, which alleges at least 15 safety practices were disregarded on set, claims there was a wider culture of cost-cutting that ultimately led to Halyna's death. In a statement, Baldwin's attorney says any claim that Alec was reckless is entirely false.
In your mind's eye, what does justice look like?
You know, we're pursuing justice every way we can. You know, with the lawsuit, seeking to hold accountable the people who are responsible for Halyna's death, which was totally preventable. In the end, you know, justice won't bring Halyna back, but maybe the memory of her can help keep people safe and prevent something like this from ever happening again.
The American Film Institute, AFI, where Halyna received a graduate degree in cinematography, established a scholarship in her honor.
You feel her spirit in here at AFI?
Oh, she spent many hours here.
Yeah.
And yeah, AFI has been wonderful. I also want her legacy as an artist to live. AFI has created the scholarship in her name. I think that's part of her legacy. You know, she would have been mentoring fellow female cinematographers as a guiding light for others.
There's a beautiful inscription on her, I guess you'd call it it's a tombstone. What is written there, and why did you choose that?
So, her light shapes our lives, keep chasing your vision. You know, thinking about how her light just permeates our lives, and to be inspired and ambitious, and that really embodied her spirit.
And Matt has had so much tragedy. He just lost his parent of COVID a couple of years ago. And I was just thinking about the breaking news today in Ukraine. Her entire family is from Ukraine and in the capital of Kiev. So he's carrying a lot. He also obviously had a lot of anger for Alec Baldwin. And also he just wanted people to know his wife. He felt like nobody knew her. So I think that was kind of his moment.
Yeah. And how is his little boy doing?
He wasn't speaking for a couple of days after it happened, and he finally got him. He said he recently got him to laugh, and he said that was something. And in fact, he just came to the interview after dropping Andros off at school, and he came there. So he's trying to keep it as normal as possible for that little boy.
He seems so composed. I mean, it's incredible after what they've gone through. Is he confident they'll get justice because Alec Baldwin is so rich, is so powerful?
He just hopes he will. He's an attorney himself, so you could tell he's kind of very measured in how he speaks. But he says he's convinced that justice will be done. I asked him point blank if he thought there should be criminal charges filed, and he said that'll be something that's up to the district attorney to decide. But he feels like justice should be pursued down a lot of different avenues.
He may be measured, but there is no mistaking them.
Woods, pretty face, but I'm known for hitting drugs. Yeah. Got him like, too good. To the yard, he ain't never leave his pretty on God. Broke, too good. Real boss, nigga got the Woods, pretty face, but I'm known for hitting drugs. Yeah. Got him like, on God. Broke, too good. Real boss beat, nigga got good. Real boss beat, nigga